In a dramatic turn of events, Syrian opposition forces have successfully taken control of the city of Damascus. The 13 years of civil war appears to have ended roughly in 13 days. President Bashar al-Assad fled the country and he has been granted asylum in Moscow, signaling the end of his regime. The opposition forces celebrating their victory have declared that Damascus is now free from the rule of Bashar al-Assad. They have announced the dawn of new era for Syria, a time they hope will bring peace, justice and stability after years of conflict. But victory is not limited to the capital itself. The opposition forces also freed all the detainees and the notorious Sednaya prison in Damascus. Long regarded as a symbol of regime's cruelty. They have proclaimed the end of the era of tyranny in what was once known as the prison of Sednaya. The change of guard at Damascus may be a cause of celebration for many, but it is also a moment of reflection on immense challenges that lie ahead. Syria stands at a crossroads with future still uncertain, but it is full of potentials for change. The struggle for a free and a peaceful Syria is still far from over. There are many groups and factions that have their own writ running in areas that they control. They are definitely going to ask for a fair pie in power sharing. The road ahead is undoubtedly not going to be so smooth. On the other side, the Israeli Air Force has carried out hundreds of sorties and destroyed what was once the Syrian Air Force and the Syrian Navy, basically to prevent deadly arsenal falling into the hands of Islamists. The Israeli army on ground has occupied the Golan Heights to provide depth to Israel from the north. So let's try and understand the new realities in greater detail. To begin with, who are Syria's rebel groups? Syria's rebel coalition consists of Islamists and moderate factions who, despite their differences, were united in fighting Assad regime, ISIS and Iran-backed militias. The most prominent and formidable of the group is HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. Also known as the Organization for the Liberation of the Levant, the HTS was founded by Abu Muhammad al-Julani, a military commander who gained experience as a young fighter for al-Qaeda against United States of America in Iraq. He created Jabhat al-Nusra, an al-Qaeda Syrian affiliate. And he operated this group until a public split in 2016 over ideological differences and opposition to ISIS. Julani formed the HTS in 2017. Despite Julani's effort to distance HTS from al-Qaeda and ISIS, the United States and other Western countries designated it a terrorist organization in 2018 and placed a $10 million bounty on him. The Syrian National Army, or the SNA, incorporates dozens of factions with various ideologies that receive funding and arms from Turkey. This is a coalition that includes National Liberation Front, comprising factions like Ahrar al-Sham, whose stated aims are to overthrow Assad regime and establish an Islamic state governed by Sharia law. Complicating matters is that some members of the rebel coalition are also fighting the Kurdish forces. The Turkish-backed Free Syrian Army had recently said that it had seized the control of city of Tal Rafat and other towns and villages in the northern part of Aleppo Governorate. Those territories were previously held not by Assad's government but by another faction involved in the multi-front civil war. The
Syrian Democratic Forces or the SDF are largely made up of Kurdish fighters from a group known as People's Protection Unit YPG, which is considered a terrorist organization by Turkey. In Syria's south, fighters from the country's Druze religious minority have also joined the fight. The Druze were fighting south of Damascus and today they control the city of Dara.
Now let's understand the geopolitical situation of Syria through this map. What are the regional players involved? So if we look at the map, right on top above in the north is Turkey, to the west is Mediterranean Sea, to the east is Iraq, and to south is Jordan, and southwest is Lebanon, and south is Israel. So these are the places from where a lot of interference has been taking place in Syria, and the major players are basically a country further east of Iraq, that is Iran. Then we have Russia, which has got two important bases, that is Khmeimim and Tartus near the Mediterranean. Then we have the Americans, they have got base at al-Tanf, which is at the confluence of the borders between Jordan, Syria and Iraq. So these are the players. Then of course we have Israel that have occupied the Golan Heights, and not to discount a very major player which has got diminished is the Hezbollah that comes from Lebanon. So these are the players. Now let's understand how the militant groups are disposed in the Syrian landscape. So this is the map that will show the Syrian militant organizations, which all areas they have occupied in Syria. So firstly, let's start with the Ba'athist remnants and the Russian bases. So this area next to the Mediterranean Sea is the area of the Ba'athist remnants who were the supporters of Assad, and over here we also have two Russian bases. Thereafter we have the Syrian National Army. It is Turkey supported, and the area shown in blue color next to Turkey is the area that they have occupied, and they control this area in Syria. Then the largest militant group, that is Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the HTS. It occupies a very large portion of Syria as marked in color green. These are the people who have also formed the interim government over there. Apart from that, we have other groups also like Syrian Democratic Forces as shown by yellow color. These are the Kurds, and these Kurds are considered as terrorists by Turkey. So there is an issue between the Kurds and Turkey. Then down south, just above Israel and next to Lebanon, we have Southern Operation Room. This is basically a group of Druze militia. They have occupied two major towns over there, Dara and Quneitra. Apart from this, there is also a Syrian Free Army which is American supported, and Americans have a base at the confluence or the tri-junction of the borders between Jordan, Iraq and Syria. So these people occupy this particular place and space. And another issue that concerns all is the ISIS remnants. So there are pockets in the Syrian desert as marked by these blobs where ISIS remnants exist. So that is also an issue. Now to understand that who has been behind this whole game, we must listen to what Netanyahu had said after occupying Golan Heights and what Joe Biden said on this whole issue. Just take a look.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its oppression.
As we all turn to the question of what comes next, the United States will work with our partners and the stakeholders in Syria to help them seize an opportunity to manage the risks. The upshot for all this is, for the first time ever, neither Russia nor Iran nor Hezbollah could defend this abhorrent regime in Syria. And this is a direct result of the blows that Ukraine, Israel have delivered upon their own self-defense with unflagging support of the United States.